Okay, I'm alive. And basically, I wanted to come on here. I wanted to get on here, get on this channel, get on my channel, and let you guys know what was going on with my situation. And it's been a lot. So, as you can see in the title, it says that gang stalkers and other criminals are diverting my phone calls. So I basically dialed a number, and that number showed me where my calls were being forwarded. And I did some research on that number, and I found out some things. I'm not going to get into detail about it right now. I'm going to do that in the next video. So if you want to know about it or know more about it, then stay tuned for the next video. So basically, what's happening is some of my phone calls are, well, first of all, my phone that I was using, something ended up happening to that phone. So I had to get another phone. However, I do still have the same number, but I can switch that out anytime if I want to. What's happening is I believe that someone is forwarding my phone calls to either their phone or to another phone. And also, what's happening is people that I'm calling, it's giving me someone else. Like I'm calling a friend, I'm calling someone, and it's transferring me to another person with that same number. And how I know this is because there's a person that I've been trying to get in contact with that I've known for a while. And usually I just text that person and they'll whenever they're ready or whenever they text, they'll text me back. We talk, every once in a while. But lately I've noticed that this person hasn't really been picking up the phone and they haven't been replying to my text. So I decided to call and see what was going on. When I called the number, which I know the number is right because I wrote the number down, and I also checked my bill, and that is the number from that I had saved in my phone, and I was sending them texts, and they send me texts back from that number. So I called this number and I said, I was calling, nobody would answer, but then somebody finally texted. And they told me that they were like a 12-year-old kid. And I'm like, okay, what do you mean? So I'm like, can I talk to your parents? And they were telling me like this was their phone, their parents pay the bill. Because I did kind of third degree this kid. I asked if I could speak to their parents, and they did ask their parents some questions, I guess, while I was on the phone, but they never put their parent on the phone. So I'm asking questions, and I'm like, well, can you ask your dad how long he's had this phone? And he said 3 years. And I said, so he's had this phone number. And I typed the phone number in. I said, so he's had this phone number for 3 years. He said that he said, hold on, give me a second, let me ask. He said that his dad said yes. So I'm like, well, that's clearly impossible for your dad to have had this number for 3 years when my friend or the person that I'm calling is has given me text message and talked to me from this number, but within 3 years. So I'm like, what is really going on? It doesn't make sense. So then I start looking up, can two people have the same phone number? Can people divert your calls and do this? So I think what's happening is I believe that honestly they trapped a relationship that I was building with a person, and I don't know if it's on purpose. It feels like it's on purpose, but I'm not 100% sure. This is a person that I was, developing a relationship with, and now all of a sudden I can't call them. And for all the people who are saying, oh, well, maybe that person changed their phone number, maybe they just don't want to talk to you. Like I said, this person said that it was a kid and that their dad has had the phone number for 3 years. He told me what his dad's name was. I looked up that number on a system that I have where I can search people's numbers and things like that, and it matched the person that he said it was. But that is not the person that I'm calling. It also matched other information that is similar to the person that I'm calling, but it was not that person. So how has your dad been letting you use this phone for 3 years with that same number? He said he's had that number for 3 years, and it's not matching up. I've talked to my friend, this person, within 3 years. I've talked to them on the phone and I've texted them within 3 years. So it cannot be your number and their number unless something weird is going on. So also, I pressed a code that lets me know if my number has been forwarded to other people's number. And when I pressed that code, a number came up and I looked up that person. And these people are all seeming to be in California. So I'm researching the people. Some of them look like they are like telecommunicators. They have jobs in the telecommunication business because I looked it up. And I'm like, that's so weird. I don't get it. Why would my call be being diverted? And it has nothing to do with the carrier that I'm with. So also I called my carrier and I looked on the app that they provide because I wanted to see my calls from a certain time period, which they say that you can look back at it from 1 year, but they only had a couple of months of my information. I'm like, okay, that's suspicious. Why can I only see? They said, okay, well, download a certain browser and that's going to change it. So I downloaded the browser, but I haven't checked again. But I still just feel like that's something suspicious. Like, what's going on? Why did I check the number that it said that my numbers were being, the numbers you can press in like star, pound, pound, 235 or whatever like that, and then it'll tell you if your numbers are being forwarded. Yes, I saw the person. I looked the person up. I looked the number up. It was someone from California. I looked them up on LinkedIn also. And so I saw their picture. I saw their profile. It said that they do something with telecommunication. And it had nothing to do, like I said, with the carrier that I'm with. These other people, the number that I'm calling, these people are some young people. All of them look like they're either Hispanic or like they're foreign. They're from somewhere else, Hispanic or from some type of Middle Eastern, Pakistani, something like that. But the one for the person that I'm trying to call is going to a Hispanic family. And in my next video, I will put more information about who and what's going on. And I don't mean to dox anybody, but I just want you guys to see what I'm talking about, and then y'all can evaluate for yourself. And the person that's apparently forwarding my calls, like I said, is also a foreign person from somewhere else. And it looks like they work in a telecommunication type of job. I looked everything up. So why are they diverting my calls? I feel like they're purposely doing this to me. Now, when you guys explained to me that there was some type of isolation program that maybe they were trying to put me in, and some type of sex trafficking program that they were trying to put me in, I did not understand what people were talking about, and I did not understand how those connected. But now I'm starting to understand, because if you're trying to isolate me and keep me away from people that I'm trying to connect to and people that I trust and people that I'm building a relationship with, then I feel like you are trying to isolate me. If you're trying to do things to me at a job and make sure that I'm not able to keep my job because you're making things up, then I feel like you're trying to isolate me. And by you isolating me, I feel like you believe that I'm going to be so vulnerable that you're closing me out from everywhere that I love to work, places, businesses, and companies that I look forward to going into and making a difference. And you're closing me out of those places. You're whatever you call that, blackballing me, I don't know. And now you're making it to where I can't do anything. So that's why now I'm starting to think about the sex trafficking thing. Well, maybe they are trying to put me in some type of sex trafficking ring where they're trying to close me out of all my options and opportunity, and they think that I'm going to somehow go into some sex business because everybody's turning away from me because of the things that they're actually trying to do. And with the neighborhood that I'm in, living across the street from the person who somehow a girl has gotten kidnapped from, and a cop has gotten his leg shot off in this neighborhood when it's supposed to be a patrolled neighborhood, it's seeming like there's some weird things going on. Like now I'm actually starting to feel like I understand what you guys mean by they're putting you in isolation and they might be trying to sex traffic you. Like I said, at first I did not make the connection. Now also I know this for a fact about the phone situation, not because of all the proof that I've already seen, but also because I was in the car with another acquaintance. Well, an acquaintance. This was an acquaintance, and he dialed his phone number. It didn't ring on my phone, but I called him, and it would ring on his phone, or like vice versa. Like it was like doing some type of weird thing, and that also happened in the situation with my best friend. I believe that's how they disconnected us from each other, and that to me is like, honestly, I know God says to forgive people, but it's really feeling unforgivable for me. I'm like, you're going to have to ask Jesus for forgiveness because right now, honestly, from what I'm going through, it's hard for me to even think about that you disconnected me from my friends, who some of them I consider my family, and you did this for some type of scam and some type of scheme. Apparently, after doing some research, because I've only been able to do this for a couple of days, there's a scam or scheme where they can divert your calls and then somehow make money off of that because they're making some type of charge because they're trying to make international phone calls or nationwide phone calls, and somehow they can make money off of that. I don't know, I'm not sure, but for me right now in the situation, it seems like it's deeper than that type of scam. You're telling me that you're going to disconnect me from people that I love and that I care about for a scam? No, I think that it's more strategic. I think that, yes, there's a scam that's involved with it, but I think that it's strategically targeted at me and possibly specific people. Because if they hack into my phone and now they're able to look at all of my contacts, then they can possibly hack those contacts as well. If someone's trying to stop me and isolate me and they want me for themselves and I don't want them, or whatever the deal may be, or they're trying to disconnect me from business partners or certain business plans, anything that I have going on, they're going to try to block me from communicating with certain people. And there's very little that the direct carrier can do. If you go to the carrier at a store location, there's not a lot that they can do, which now takes away a lot of your time and makes you a damn private investigator or some type of investigator when I actually have other things that I need to do. But this is like a number one priority because now you're taking me away from people that I love and that I care about. Now, the funny part about it is people that I don't actually really want to talk to, all those people I'm able to be connected to. Like all those people, there's no problem, there's a connection. But the people that I want to really talk to and maybe haven't talked to in a little while and really want to talk to, and I know that I can get through to them, somehow, for some reason, it's not working now. Also, my phone turned off right before I had a job opportunity, and I didn't know that you can call from any phone and press star, and then you can check your voicemails like that. The only reason why I ended up being able to do that is because I got a little fortune cookie that told me something where I need to be looking and digging in a little bit better. And I decided, well, what is it that I'm not doing? Yes, let me try harder. And I decided to call the number, and bam, I looked it up. I said, what can you do if you want to get your messages and you don't have your phone anymore? And it told me, bam. So I looked at my messages and it said that I had a job opportunity, and I missed it because it was 7 days later. But that only clicked. I wouldn't have ever known that I could even do that because I've been going through so much. I can't remember it from 10 years ago that you could do that. And that's how it happened. Now I have to wait on another job opportunity, and it's a hassle. It seems like every time I try to apply for a job, it seems like everybody else starts applying too. I see a huge list of jobs, a huge list of opportunities in a specific field a lot of times in certain areas. And then when I come back like 5 days later, 3 days later, it's like all those jobs are gone. Like, really? Are you serious? So my calls are definitely being diverted. I don't know exactly. I know there's a couple of numbers I could possibly call. I don't know exactly how to deal with it because I haven't experienced that before. But I definitely know that it's happening, and I know that it happens because I looked on Quora as well, and I asked, and other people have had the problem. And I'm starting to think that people may even purposely do it. I went to Quora and I asked, and there was one really rude technician that spoke back to a person who was asking a question. He said, "Oh, there was a person that I was getting to know, and we were getting along really well. Then all of a sudden, the number basically just stopped working." And the technician was like, "Well, maybe you should just accept the fact that they don't want to talk to you and that you need to move on." And I'm like, well, that was really rude for that technician to say that. And that to me raises a red flag and is suspicious. I'm actually starting to think that maybe people are getting in the way of certain people's business plans and relationships. And some of these people are techs, and some of these people work in the telecommunication business. And also, when I went up there to get my new phone, I'll tell you what they did to that was really disturbing. I'm talking to a representative. They're putting out all my information. I write my information on a pad because I don't want people knowing my phone number out loud and then I pass it to them. If they ask me what my password is, I think that I'm supposed to just put it in, but sometimes they ask you and I write it down. But what I've been noticing is that representatives have been coming next to that representative and like looking at it. And I'm like, can I just like get some space? I kind of want this to be a private session in like a booth where I'm not feeling like everybody's kind of looking into my information. Even customers were getting up and walking toward where I was, where they do the little keypad thing. Also, one of the representatives went to another customer with my information still on the screen. He took a customer's phone and he had the phone like this. This is the screen. The screen was right here, and he had the customer's phone like right here. And I'm like, "Excuse me, sir, can you close out my information because I just don't feel comfortable." And so then he was like, "Oh yeah, 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 you're fine." And then he closed it out. I'm like, "No, I'm not fine until my information's closed out. Your information should be closed out before they get to another customer. And if you're a manager, you should know that, and they should be telling managers to make sure that they're doing that because the privacy of the customer is important. And what's the point of a customer going there, getting a new phone, getting a new number, or keeping the same number, and here you are giving another person all that person's information just for their phone to get hacked? Because that's what it is. And a lot of these managers and people are very young, they're very savvy, they understand what's going on with this business world and everything, and their mind is on some things that aren't good, that aren't positive. And I believe that they're willing to sabotage customers' information for their personal gain. If somebody says, "Hey man, I'll give you $500 or a couple of $100 if you just, give me this person's phone number, give me this person's password," you don't think some of them are doing that? I've experienced some workers that smell like they haven't taken a bath in a day or two, and they would be happy if you gave them $100 or so. But you can still get $100 from the person who's helping you, who you're helping, if you show good customer service, and they can bring more business to you. That's more legit, and that's more of a cash flow type of situation than doing all these bad things. But now there's so many people doing this negative stuff, and a lot of them, I'm sorry, don't get upset with me for putting the demographics out there, but a lot of the people that I'm saying are minority people that are doing this. And I know that there are also people who are Caucasian, a few Caucasians that are doing it as well, but a lot of them are Hispanic and Black people. I went in and most people are speaking Spanish. I'm in the room with 3 or 4 people and all of them start speaking Spanish. And I feel like I do not belong and I feel like I'm not safe. And I feel like my privacy is not being protected. And I feel like that people are ganging up on me and doing criminal activity because I don't understand the language that you're speaking, and you're speaking Spanish, and you see that there's a black person standing here, and you know that I probably don't speak Spanish. Now I have to learn Spanish in order to, figure out what criminals and other people might be doing in order to protect myself. I have to learn Spanish. I have to learn Arabic. I have to learn Chinese. I have to learn this. I have to learn all these things in order to protect myself. That's how I feel. And I can't. I don't have the capacity. I'm not going to. They're diverting people's phone calls, tearing people's relationships up, interfering with people's business. And it was really hard for me to accept that the other day. Like, I was literally in tears because I realized what they're doing to me. Like, I've been strong, like holding on for a long time, but then I realized that they're actually stripping me away from friends and family and people that I care about. Some of these people are at a distance, so it's not easy for me to just go hop over there and say, hey, something's going on. And I think that these people know that, and I think that they research that. They know that because they can also probably see the location of people. So it's just, it's horrible when you can't get in touch with somebody and they're diverting the phone calls. It's unbelievable. And like, this is one of the things that I said that is unforgivable. It's unforgivable. Think about it. People are saying, oh, people coming from other places and they're struggling and they've been slaved and all these bad things are happening to them. But this is not a trade off. You're not going to use my life and then make my life bad, enslave me, take my friends and my family away from me just so that you can get an opportunity, because I'm not buying that. I don't want that. I'm not for that at all. And that's what it feels like people are doing. It feels like all these people are out there by clear water, clean blue water. And when I look up their Instagrams and their pictures and things like that, it looks like they're, living out by the blue water. And here I am, my calls are being diverted, or they're forwarding my calls or something, and it looks like they've been researching your friend, your family, people's style. It almost looks like they've been watching certain people. I'm sick of it. Like, there's no forgiveness in my heart right now for people taking my friends and family away from me by diverting my calls just for some damn scam. I don't believe, I'm starting to believe that this is an isolation tactic. It's more than a couple of cents or a couple of dollars for some telephone scam. So now I'm gonna have to do more research to get things done. Like, I'm having to research instead of, following my dreams and being more productive in society, doing something else. And it's so hard to reach people. You have to, do certain things just to write letters, do this, do that. You can't just go to a business anymore. You can't go to a carrier. They're like, oh, well, we don't do that. You have to call customer service. And then customer service is everybody from another country. And then I spoke to someone over chat, and they told me, and I have receipts and timestamps. That's why I said wait for the next video because it's going to be in more detail. And that person told me that yes, they can get into your information, and yes, they can hack your information when you're giving them your password. And I've made a big deal. Some people may say, oh, well, that's stupid. Why would you give them their password? Well, sometimes they put me in a trap where I have to give them my password, usually when it's late at night and I need to pay my bill. And maybe I waited on the last day. And then they're like, oh, we're sorry. Something's going on with our system. Let's connect you to customer service. And then they connect you to customer service, and then they ask you for your password, and they tell you, well, they can't help you unless you give them the password. I'm like, I don't want to give you my password. They can't help you if you don't. As soon as you give them your password, now they can hack into your phone and hack into your system. And a lot of times they're very eager to connect with you and connect with your phone. Another thing about these phones, I'm learning a lot about these phones, a whole lot, and it's really pissing me off. You sit in a parking lot, because I'm a person that likes to go into private little areas where people aren't bothering me, smaller crowds when I'm doing certain things. And these people will drive right near your car and start smiling. And you're like, why are you smiling? Like, why are you looking at me? And why are you smiling? And usually, like I said, they're from other places, but other people do it too. So what they're doing is they're hoping that you're a stupid black person, excuse me for my anger right now, or just stupid or naive or have a lack of understanding with these phones, which a lot of us do. Well, I did, and I'm just now really learning. If you have Wi-Fi on, if you have tethering on, if you have Bluetooth on, then they're automatically connecting with your phone, and they're able to. These people are more advanced, and what I'm dealing with is more advanced. I'm not dealing with a damn novice here who's hacking into my phone. I'm dealing with someone who's a professional who does this criminal activity for a living. Okay? And then these people who come from other places, they're very tech savvy. They know what they're doing, they're good at it. They connect to your Wi-Fi, they get into your contacts. They're thrilled about it. They love it. It's like a sport to them. They get into your information. Apparently, they're looking at your numbers. They're looking at what you're looking up. And they acting like they have like a forever connection with you by doing this. So I don't know how deep it goes because I don't do that to people. So I'm not exactly sure. But this is what the vibe that I'm getting from these people, and this is what these people are doing. Even at your house, you cannot have Wi-Fi on. Like I didn't really know that, it was that big of a deal. You can't have Wi-Fi on. You can't have Bluetooth on because your neighbor is tech savvy. They do this for a living and they're trying to hack into your phone. Next thing you know, they'll be diverting your phones, your business calls, your family calls, your loved ones calls to someone else, locking you out of all your opportunities, diverting your messages, doing this, doing that. Okay? I just bought a phone and you tell me, I was sitting at a park, somebody parked, pulled up, okay? In the contacts, there was only three contacts because it was a new phone. All of a sudden, after this person pulled up, there was a contact that said Corey. It literally just popped up on the screen. I'm like, okay, the timing was as soon as this person popped up, and by the time they drove away, because there wasn't really anybody else in the parking lot, everybody else was in the building. By the time they drove up, this thing popped up on the screen. So, how is that happening? How is it happening? And I really wanted to put this on live chat so y'all could give me some answers about what's going on because it's like, it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. And there's millions and millions, and people say that I'm racist and I'm a horrible person. No, I'm not. I'm all about security and protection. You know what I'm saying? I feel like the more people that come over here, the worse things get. The crime rate goes up. I become a target. That's my issue. It's not about who you are, what race you are. I don't care. I could care less if you're a good person. My concern is all the criminals that come along with it. We already have criminals. The crime rate's going down. It was going down during Trump. I'm sorry to tell you, but it was. It was going down during the Trump period. And then during the Biden period and all of that, and the Biden and Kamala period, in Obama period, it completely raised up. It soared, and now everybody's getting gang stalked. That's my opinion, and I'm sticking to it. I don't care. I'm really upset. That's all I can say. So I just want you guys to know to be careful with your phones. Be careful when it comes to Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, tethering. Like never have it on, and they probably can. Oh, and another thing is the emergency SOS. That means like cops or something can probably tether, and then they'll be following you. If you're one of the people that one of the crooked cops is following, they'll follow you. Follow you if you have that MOS or SOS thing on for emergency calls. It's good because they can find you if you're in a lake or something drowning. But it's bad if they're gonna follow you everywhere and they're crooked cops and they're gonna get people on your case to break into your car and do wicked things to you. So it's like you kind of stuck in between a mad truck and a hard wall, right? It's horrible. But if you have any of those, even that Find My Device, if you have the Find My Device on, they can also track you much easier, like, that way. It's like all the stuff that's there to protect you, to find your phone, and for you to be found if anything happens to you, is also the exact same things that are used to stalk you. So it's like I'm in a horrible predicament right now, and I'm just like, wow, I didn't ask for it to be this difficult. I didn't ask for it to be like this at all. Like, I do not deserve this. Like, whatever I've done in life, it hasn't been that horrible. Like, that's just how I feel. Because I'm not saying I'm perfect, but I've never done anything to a person to target them, to target their life. I've never tried to poison anybody. I've never tried to kill anybody. I've never tried to divert a person's phone calls. I've never tried to lie on a person about work or at work. I've never done any of those things. God is my witness. I've never done that. So why is all this happening to me? These people purposely decided to pick on me and purposely decided to isolate me. And I'm upset and they need to figure out what to do. It's not, you know what I'm saying? I feel like they researched me. They know about my history. They know about my family. They know about my sister. They know my whole situation, and they thought to themselves, "Oh, we can easily pick on her. We can easily bother her, and the minimal will happen to us." I feel like that's what they're thinking in their head, and I'm like frustrated about where I live. I'm frustrated about the phone situation. I cannot get a phone without people hacking into it and diverting my calls and stopping me from calling the people that I care about. They literally changed the number. They literally have their number going to the same number going to somebody else. There's no way. Explain it to me. How? How do you have the same number as somebody else and you've been having it for 3 years? And I've called them within those 3 years. How? What are these people doing to me? I'm sick of it. And it's like, oh, it's not a special situation. It's happening. I go look on Quora, type it. Can two people have the same number? Yes. Can somebody forward your call and then the calls that you're making, they're sending it to the number you think that they are sending it to that number, but somebody else has that number too. How does that work? I don't know. There's a gap. So it's like there's a channel and then they block this little channel and then it diverts and goes to another person, but it looks like, it's going to the right person. There's a back door, there's a gap, there's something there, and they can make it look like, yes, that's the same number, but oh, that person moved. Oh, that person never had that phone number, but you can't play me when I know the facts. That's the problem. That's where things get serious. You cannot tell me that's been your number for 3 years. They've been playing with my phone. And let me tell you something. When did this start? When I went to college, when I took my ass to that damn community funky college. And I'm not saying that anything's bad with college because it taught me a lot. It's helped me a little bit get better positions. But when I went to that college, there was somebody there that was after me. And I'm getting to the point where I just want to dox people. I'm gonna be honest with you. And when I would go to class, because somebody started talking about me, because they looked up my background and they don't know nothing about the actual story to that background. So they started picking on me and taunting me. And so I decided I'm going to go to school and put my headphones in my ear. And when I started doing that, they saw what I was doing. That was my coping mechanism. And they started doing something to my little MP3 player. All of a sudden, my MP3 player wouldn't work. It started like frizzing up and whatever you call it, like the frequency wouldn't work anymore. Even my phone, I would bring my phone and I would start listening. But at first, it was pure working great. Everything was fine. But because they wanted my attention and they wanted to deliberately hurt me, that's how I feel. They made sure that they intercepted all my things. Who is doing this? What's going on? I don't understand. Also, not picking on anybody. Remember, I'm just giving facts and real life experiences. When I'm driving in the car, back in the day, a couple of times I was driving in the car, my phone would literally shut off when I would drive by the police. Certain police cars, all of a sudden my phone would shut down. You tell me. I'm not lying. I'm not making this up. For what? I want a bunch of uh, crooked cops following me? Or you know, good cops that aren't going to actually look into the details of what I'm saying. When these cops would pass by me, my phone would turn off. Oh, okay. How about the time when I decided I wanted to go to the emergency room because I wasn't feeling good? So I go to the emergency room. All of a sudden, I don't go. I try to get there. The people from the hospital came to the other hospital because the people wouldn't help me, right? So I called another hospital and they showed up. And when they showed up to get me, the people ran from inside, ran outside, and told them, "Oh, you can't do that. You can't pick her up from this hospital." Why can't they? They're already here. I need help right now. So they had those people go back. This was at LBJ, LBJ Hospital when I went there one time. And so then I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna try to drive to the hospital. I'm praying, I'm doing whatever. And all of a sudden, my phone, at this time, I had a little track phone because I wasn't able to buy a phone. So I had a government phone, or I was just using the cheaper thing because that was working for me at the time. I'm trying to get to the hospital, and all of a sudden it goes beep, and it turns completely off on my way to the hospital. All the days that the phone could have turned off, and it turns off on my way to the hospital. It completely dies on the way to the hospital. And you're telling me that that's not some gang stalking thing? Now, who is tracking me on the government phone? And it's very threatening. It's like they're telling me we don't want you to live, we don't want you to survive, we don't want you to make it. Like I said, the only reason why people are if they had anything on me, it's very little, it's minimal, it's nothing that anybody could do anything about because it's that little, right? These people are mad because they did something to me. They did something to me. And I have to sit here at nighttime when I'm in a frenzy, feeling a certain type of way, thinking about how they blocked me from calling certain people, thinking about how I've been treated with the phone situation, thinking about how I've been treated at certain hospitals. This is what I had to live with because they did something to me. Okay? They come up in this garage stealing my paperwork. They come up in this garage stealing things of mine and giving them out and distributing them to people. And then they want me to sit down, shut up, suffer, and not get any profit off of anything. That's what they want. They want to take all of the bits of the garment and then distribute them and then say, F that person wasn't nobody, that person wasn't no good. But in the meantime, we're gonna eat off of some of what they got. Because there's nothing else. It's rude, it's disrespectful. And you know what? I'm thinking to myself, was this a prophecy that was brought over my life? Or is this the real world? Because somebody once told me, oh, just wait till you grow up. You're going to see life ain't so easy out there. And I was just thinking to myself, that's not true. There's a lot of good people out here, and I'm sure I'll be perfectly fine. Then now I get in this damn neighborhood and another neighborhood. No, you know what it is? It's running into the wrong bad person, the wrong one person, and they're completely effing destructive. They ruin everything for you. They ruin your opportunities. They dig in your pocket. They go through your phone. They terrorize your job. They terrorize your workplace. They try to get people to connect to them and to connect to more people. And then, by the way, by the time you look at it, they didn't connected you into a whole criminal ring of criminals that are attacking you like parasites, just leeching on to you, trying to suck everything out of you, and then turn around and pretend like, oh yeah, yeah, I've seen the worst. I've seen bad things happen to good people, and then those bad people who did it say, oh, that person wasn't nobody. They wasn't nothing. I've seen it with my own eyes and I've heard it with my own eyes. And it haunts me to this day. I had nothing to do with it, but I know that these people had to have something to do with it. Because how do you go from talking good about a person, then something happens to them, and then all of a sudden you're dogging them and talking bad about them? Ain't no way. You got something to do with it, dude. That's all I'm saying is I've seen people do that to people. I've seen people I've seen people just bully people because somebody wanted to be connected to a person and a person didn't want that. And I realized what situation they put me in out here. Most women are not going to really connect with other women as far as like staying with a woman and all this. And most men are not going to connect to a woman unless you're doing something with a woman. Okay, men that are like that, is very rare, almost impossible. So they're putting you in a position where you have to hurry up and meet somebody. Or, and actually, I think that's a strategy too. I think somebody's got their eye on me and they're waiting till I'm in some horrible, vulnerable position. And then they're going to try to drive up with their little funky old sports car and say, hey, do you need a ride? And say, hey, yeah, 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 yeah. No, what I want is my life back. What I want is the connections that I've made. I'm sick of it. Anyway, that's all I have to say is these people are trying to ruin my life. They've crawled their little gritty fingers all up in my situation, and they have literally tried to destroy me from the inside out. Like they have literally tried to destroy me. And I'm still here. I'm still fighting. I'm working on getting myself together. I'm doing the best that I can, but I'm dealing with very high level situations that do not make sense for me to go through. And I feel like it's a whole lot of people against me and my situation when I've done nothing but help these people out if I've done anything at all. I'm sick of it. And that's it. That's all I can say. And for anybody that's watching that knows me, and you're one of those people that I'm calling and I'm trying to text, just know that I'm calling and I'm trying to text you and it's not going to you. It's going to somebody else. That same number is going to somebody else. They're saying they've had that number for 3 years, and I know that's not true. I'm trying to get a hold of you and I can't. Like it's absurd right now. It's like I don't know what else to do. I still have very few options to getting around it. But if I know you and you haven't heard from me, that's what's happening. And I'm trying to reach out to certain people. The calls are being diverted, not just my number. It's being diverted from the numbers that I'm calling as well. It's telling me that person never had that number. That person it's not true. I have the telephone records to prove that it's not true. Even though they're trying to take those away, I still have copies of certain ones that I know. Now, how? Because it was saved under that person's number. So if I'm texting that same number from when I first met them or talked to them, and I'm just sending the text, it's the same person, it's the same number. Not only that, like I said, I remember the number in my head also because I was suspicious of people trying to do things. Not only that, I wrote the number down on a piece of paper and I have that number as well, and it is the correct number. So I know that I'm not going crazy about the number. So, to that person, do not give up on me. I'm looking for you. Sorry, right now, I don't look that, all put together right now. But yeah, I'm looking for you. I'm here. I've been texting, I've been calling. I don't know if you've been getting my calls or my texts, but yeah, right now I'm really sad about the situation and I just want you to know if you happen to run by this video and see the situation. I haven't neglected you. I haven't abandoned you. I haven't left you. I'm still here and I'm waiting for the situation to get resolved. And I'm still waiting and I'm going to wait. And I'm just praying that something good happens. And that's it. I will talk to you guys later.